The CEO of a major health insurance company was brazenly gunned down on the street Wednesday morning in what police have called a premeditated, pre planned, targeted attack. According to authorities, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed outside the New York Hilton Midtown on 6th Avenue as he was on his way to speak at United Health Group's investor conference. So, a gunman who had been lying in wait for several minutes had approached him from behind and fired at least once into his back and at least once into his right calf, according to Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch at a news conference on Wednesday. Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny said that the motive, they didn't have a motive yet. They're currently unknown. But based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear the victim was specifically targeted. There's video of this floating around, and if you've seen it, most of you probably have by now, so I don't really think I need to show you. But in that video, there's like a bystander. In fact, there were several bystanders that had passed by him, or that the shooter had passed by, and one apparently was trying to get out of there and didn't even want to spill his coffee. So wasn't really in too much of a rush. So yeah, very targeted, right? Now, Joseph Kenny said, quote, "At this point, we do not know why he was targeted." Well, at this point, the gunman, who is still at large, only he knows for sure. But there is some speculation out there which would, to me, make sense. Why? Well, it's because United Health is kind of infamous for denying massive amounts of insurance claims. Now, I'm going to get to some of those details in a bit, but first, according to former FBI supervisor Rod D'Amico, Thompson's slaying has all the markings of a personal vendetta tied to the victim's company. In fact, Thompson's wife, Paulette, noted that there were threats made against her husband. She told NBC News on Wednesday, quote, "Yes, there had been some threats. Basically, I don't know, a lack of coverage? I don't know details. I just know that he said that there were some people that had been threatening him." Now, there's another piece of evidence here found by police that backs up the, being targeted mainly for his business activities, and that's bullet casings with the words "deny, defend, and depose" written on them. Wow. Now, a lot of people have linked that to a book by Jay Feinman titled "Delay, Deny, Defend: Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It." The 2010 book reveals how insurance companies have developed unethical practices of delaying or denying legitimate claims, sharing dozens of stories involving major insurers while counseling readers on how to make insurance buying decisions and pursue disputed claims. Yikes. So when you look into United Health, they're an industry leader in denying legitimate medical claims. In fact, up to a third of all claims are denied by the company. You can see 32% of denial, it's a denial rate of legitimate claims. Understand that that's kind of how they make so much money, to the tune of an expected $450 billion in revenue in 2025. Okay. And so that's a lot of money. Now, revenue, right? Well, personally, Thompson brought home about $10 million in compensation. So why is the denial rate so high? Much, much higher. Well, it turns out that United Health was sued back in 2023 for knowingly using a faulty artificial intelligence algorithm that would deny elderly patients coverage for extended care deemed necessary by their doctors. In fact, according to the complaint, the elderly are prematurely kicked out of care facilities nationwide or forced to deplete their family savings to continue receiving necessary medical care, all because United Health's AI model disagrees with their real-life doctors' determinations. United Healthcare, Humana, and CVS have all faced criticism for using AI to deny Medicare Advantage post-acute care authorizations, prioritizing profits over patient care. Denial rates for post-acute care were significantly higher than other care types, with United Healthcare and CVS having rates 3 times higher and Humana 16 times higher Oh, and the error rate, by the way, on these denials, specifically for elderly patients, is around 90%, meaning that 90% of their denials were illegitimate. So, gee, if you're wondering why people might be mad, yeah. Now that said, we don't know the motive yet, but I'm willing to bet that this could be the reason. Okay. Look, I'd be very surprised if this wasn't a result of United Health's business practices and the fact that they had spent over $100 million in lobbying Congress since 1998 to kill things like single payer healthcare, for example, or to, stop Congress from doing any legislating to prevent things like this. It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. That said, it might be something else. Thompson might have made other enemies as well, according to reporter Ken Klippenstein, who posted in his Substack. In May, the Hollywood Firefighters Pension Fund had filed a lawsuit against Thompson, alleging that he had sold over $15 million in United Health stock, despite being aware of an active Justice Department antitrust investigation. Thompson did not disclose the existence of that investigation to investors or the public. So it could be a rich guy that maybe hired a hitman or something to kill him. I don't know. Now, United Health, the lawsuit alleges, was aware of the Justice Department investigation since at least October of 2023. The public would only learn of the case when the Wall Street Journal published a story about it on February 27th, 2024. When news of the investigation broke, it erased almost $25 billion in shareholder value. But by that time, Thompson had already cashed out, selling over $15 million personally held United Health shares per the suit. So, yeah, a lot of this information that I just gave you is probably why a lot of people on the internet are not shedding any tears for Mr. Thompson. And also why a lot of people aggrieved by United Health are sharing stories like this. I've had UHC for the last several years. I have stage 4 metastatic lung cancer. We've just left UHC because of all the denials for my meds. Every month, there's a different reason for the denial. As of today, we are well over our max out of pocket for the year, with having spent well over $20,000. Since we are in our 60s, we don't have time to recoup that. Like someone else said, do better. I'm sharing a GoFundMe later today, says Rebel But Coding, because apparently the only way to keep yourself alive in this capitalist crap hole is to crowdsource healthcare that big insurance companies like UHC are allegedly supposed to provide. You exacerbated my father's agonizing battle with cancer until his final breath, and now you're just trying to throw my mother's life away at UHC just so your CEO, Brian Thompson, can take home tens of millions of dollars. This year, you all deserve to rot in hell. That was before all this, but these stories are coming back out. And then from a former worker at UHC in the 90s, I worked for them after they took over the MetLife Health Division as team leader, and we were instructed to decline large health claims. The patients had to go through the agonizing process of appeals, just wrong, hated doing it, and eventually left after a few months after their takeover. And then we also have, on the doctor's side, a letter. Dear buttheads at the insurance company. I love the opening of that letter. I can't believe it has come to this. I have to take time away from my patients to inform them that you are idiots. This whole experience makes me want to vomit. But of course, I wouldn't dare throw up without the approval of my insurance company. Which brings me to my point. Apparently, you have decided that a child receiving chemotherapy has no reason to be nauseated. I didn't think I was unnecessarily writing prescriptions for antiemetics for, obviously the person's name is redacted. Obviously, you would know better about the side effects of chemotherapy than me, my peers, and the entire scientific community, going all the way back to Dr. Sidney Farber. I suppose my alternative to Zofran and scopolamine is to let the person know that the nausea is all in his head. However, I don't imagine that you would cover any psychology consultation either. So I'll just tell whoever to stop throwing up. Thank you for that simple solution. You have saved your greedy, blood-sucking corporation shareholders a great deal of money, I'm sure. Of course, that would be the bottom line. Feel free to contact me if you need further information about how much you guys suck. Now, you would be mistaken to think that it's just United Healthcare that does this. No, a lot of these same insurance companies are screwing people over for profit. It's just that United Healthcare is the most extreme example. Now, what happened recently is Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield recently floated a change of policy, saying that they would no longer pay for anesthesia care if the surgery or procedure goes beyond an arbitrary time limit. Yeah. So now, about an hour ago, news came out that, they're going to reverse that policy now. Turns out, bad idea. Gee, I wonder what caused them to rethink this one. But understand that stuff like this is why a lot of people are not having much sympathy for, Mr. Thompson, okay? Which is causing some people, of course, to clutch their pearls and talk about how dare you celebrate the death of a CEO. Now, here's the thing. I'm not condoning murder, okay? I think murder is wrong. I know. But I do understand and share the lack of sympathy here, okay? Look, 64% of the nearly 25 million uninsured Americans currently cite the cost of health insurance as a reason why they don't have it. They can't afford it. While these guys take home tens of millions of dollars, and then even if you have insurance, still end up denying you. Okay? You have tens of thousands of people that die each year because they can't afford health insurance. But as I mentioned before, even if you have health insurance, especially United Healthcare Group, you're going to be denied life-saving medications and procedures despite paying exorbitant premiums. So, yeah, is it really a surprise if, that people are not really having a lot of sympathy for UHG or the CEO at this point? And would it really be a surprise if the shooter, who has not yet been identified, ends up being someone burned by this company? Maybe a former, patient or a subscriber, or even someone who had worked for UHG? It wouldn't surprise me, considering that we live in a country where it's actually cheaper and easier to get a gun than it is to actually be able to get health care. Now, I'm not excusing or encouraging violence. Far from it. Okay? But I'm just pointing out that when people are pushed to the very brink, as a law of nature, some of them are going to push back. And maybe it would be great to have not gotten to this point in the first place. Because as we've seen, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.